Dear students, today we are going to establish some more relations between the elastic constants. So by now we know that there are four types of elastic constants. One is Young's modulus, Y, another is bulk modulus, K, then we have modulus of rigidity, neta, and we also have Poisson's ratio, that is given by sigma, which is equal to beta by alpha. You know that alpha is the longitudinal strain, that is, it is the elongation produced in a body along the direction of force, and beta is the elongation produced perpendicular to the direction of force. In this case, we talked about the example of a metallic of a bar, in which the force applied is in this direction and the elongation takes place in the same direction. That strain will be given by alpha, and the strain that is produced perpendicular to the direction of force along the diameter, that is given by beta. Now, in order to establish the relation between any three of these constants, we need to express all the three in terms of this beta and alpha, right? So in the previous lecture, what we have done is that we have expressed that Young's modulus Y is the reciprocal of alpha. Similarly, we have expressed that the bulk modulus K is 1 by 3 times alpha minus 2 beta. And we also know that this Poisson's ratio sigma is B by alpha, beta by alpha, right? Today we shall try to express this modulus of rigidity neta in terms of beta and alpha. And once we are able to do that, then we are free to connect any three or any two of them in terms of alpha and beta, right? So let's do that. So again, we choose a cube, just one face of it. Again, I don't need to repeat those details, that for the sake of simplicity, we choose that the length, breadth and height of the cube are 1, the volume is 1, the area of each face is 1, we are using a force of 1 Newton, and so on. This is just to simplify the things, right? Now, when we stretch this cube, and this time we are trying to bend it. Remember, at this time we are interested in modulus of rigidity, and modulus of rigidity involves the shear stress, that is, there are angular changes produced in the body. So once we stretch it, suppose this is the diagonal, and now once we produce a force, we try to elongate it, it moves in this manner. Now this diagonal also stretches. Then if we drop a perpendicular at this point, see, this and this lengths are equal, and the diagonal has stretched by this amount. So suppose this point is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. What is the elongation produced in the side of the cube? It is delta L. So this DC is delta L. And what is the elongation produced along the diagonal? That is BC, right? Suppose this angle is phi. And the angle through which the side of the cube has bent is suppose theta. So we call this angle as theta. So I'm repeating it again, that we have chosen just one face of the cube. This is the diagonal. This is the side of the cube. It gets elongated by a length delta L, and the diagonal gets elongated by this much, that is BC, right? Now, remember that when we are stretching this solid, there are two types of elongations, as already told. One is the longitudinal strain and another is the lateral strain. The longitudinal strain is produced along the direction of force, and the lateral strain is produced perpendicular to the direction of force. Therefore, the total elongation will be the sum of two. So the total elongation will be alpha plus beta. See, this was the kind of solid. Yes. So once you stretch it, so if this diagonal was originally here, now it shifts to a position like this, because this side tends to contract and this side tends to expand. Therefore, the total elongation will be not only due to the force along the diagonal, but also the force which is perpendicular to this diagonal. So the total elongation will be alpha plus beta, right? Now we know this alpha plus beta is the elongation per unit length of the solid. But what is the length of this diagonal? Because at this time we are trying to start our calculations with the diagonal of the cube. If this is of unit dimension, this is also of unit dimension, we know the diagonal would be 1 square plus 1 square, that is equal to under root 2 using Pythagoras theorem. Therefore, if the elongation per unit length of the solid is alpha plus beta, the elongation along the diagonal, that is BC, is equal to root 2 times alpha plus beta. So now we are interested in finding the modulus of rigidity. Modulus of rigidity is force per unit area by shear stress, that is the angle theta. Now tell me what this theta is originally equal to. This is perpendicular by base. If we take the tan theta, and if angle is very small, which it is, then tan theta is equal to theta, and theta is perpendicular by base, that is delta L by L. So we can write it as force per unit area delta L by L. Now again, since we have chosen the force to be unity, area to be unity, length to be unity, so we are essentially left with 1 by delta L only. That means if we are able to find this elongation delta L, we will be able to find this theta. Now let's try to do that. Now in that thing, we have already achieved a significant step, that is we have found BC, right? And from this BC, we can try to find this delta L from this triangle DBC. So from triangle DBC, we can say that cos phi, remember I have chosen this angle as phi and this angle as theta. I don't know if it is clear to you. This angle is phi and this angle is theta. Theta is the angle of shear, the angle through which the solid has bent on account of application of force. Phi is the angle that is created here, right? So cos phi is how much? This is base by hypotenuse, that is base is BC and hypotenuse is how much? Delta L. Now what is this BC equal to? This BC is delta L cos phi. Now remember that for practical purposes we choose this angle to be nearly equal to 90. Therefore this half will be 45. See, whenever we have a metallic solid or a solid, whatever kind of solid we have, so of course we understand, all of us understand that when we apply a force, we are not able to make any significant bends in it. Even if it bends by say 1 degree or 2 degree, that's it. We are not able to bend a solid by say 45 degree or 90 degree. We realize that because solids are rigid. They are densely compacted, right? So whenever we apply a force to deform them and they get deformed, but that deformation is only through 1 degree of an angle or 2 degree of an angle. Therefore, for practical purposes, we can say that this angle is 90, the way it is 90 here. The way it is 90 here, this is also 90. Though this angle actually should be 88 degree or 87 degree, but for practical purposes, we say that this is 90 degree and half of it would be 45, right? So what is cos of 45? That is 1 by root 2. So BC is equal to 1 by root 2 times delta L. Now we can equate these two. One is we have already found BC. BC is root 2 times alpha plus beta, and BC is also equal to 1 by root 2 times delta L. So let us equate those equations. So we have found that BC is equal to root 2 times alpha plus beta, and BC is also equal to 1 by root 2 times delta L. So let us equate these two. We get delta L by root 2 is equal to root 2 times alpha plus beta. So delta L is equal to root 2 and root 2, that's twice alpha plus beta. And in the beginning we have found that this modulus of rigidity, it just reduces to 1 by delta L because we have chosen all other parameters as unity. So it reduces to 1 by delta L, and we have already found the value of that delta L. So modulus of rigidity is the reciprocal of this, and it is 1 by twice alpha plus beta. Therefore, we have obtained all the three elastic constants, Young's modulus, bulk modulus, and modulus of rigidity in terms of alpha and beta. So this is a big deal. So once we have done that, it's quite easy for anybody to establish the relation between the constants. Now let us rewrite those equations once again. So what have we obtained? We have obtained that Young's modulus is 1 by alpha. Bulk modulus K is 1 by 3 times alpha minus 2 beta. Modulus of rigidity, which we have just found, that is equal to how much? That is 1 by twice alpha plus beta, and Poisson's ratio sigma is already beta by alpha. Now let's try to manipulate these equations, and it is easy for anybody. So from this equation, for example, we get 3k is equal to 1 by alpha minus 2 beta. So 3k is equal to 1 by, for alpha, I can write 1 by gamma. I mean 1 by y, that is Young's modulus, 1 by y. Minus 2 beta, right? So I'm talking about this equation. I obtained this 3k is equal to 1 by alpha minus 2 beta. Then for this alpha, I wrote 1 by y, that is Young's modulus, minus 2 beta. Now this beta, the value of this beta can be obtained from this equation, because now we are interested to involve this modulus of rigidity, right? So what do we get from that? We get 2 times neta is equal to 1 by alpha plus beta. We also get that alpha plus beta is equal to 1 by twice neta. So this beta is equal to 1 by twice neta minus alpha. So let us substitute the value of beta here, and what do we get? We get 3k is equal to 1 by 1 minus gamma minus twice beta. For this beta, we are going to write 1 by 2 neta, 1 by 2 neta minus alpha. So 3k is equal to 1 by 1 by gamma or y, that's Young's modulus, minus 1 by neta plus 2 alpha. For alpha, I can again write it is 1 by y, that's Young's modulus. So 3k is equal to 1 by y and 2 by y, that is 3 by y, minus 1 by neta. And when I take the reciprocal, what do I get? So I get, when I take the reciprocal of this relation, I get 1 by 3k is equal to 3 by y minus 1 by neta. So I can choose to multiply by 3 on all sides. So that gives me 1 by k is equal to 9 by y minus 3 by neta. So I can write that 9 by y is equal to 1 by k plus 3 by neta. And this is the equation that connects Young's modulus, bulk modulus, and modulus of rigidity. And we have been able to do it by expressing each of these quantities in terms of alpha and beta. Alpha is the longitudinal strain and beta is the lateral strain. And the ratio of the two is called Poisson's ratio, sigma, beta by alpha, right? So you can also consult books to find the relations between any of them, and you can do that. The basic thing that you need to do is that you need to express all the 4 constants in terms of beta and alpha, and once you are able to do that, you can connect any 2 or any 3 parameters in terms of each other. That's quite easy. That follows easily. So I hope that completes this topic. So that's all. So I'm quickly turning the pages once again. So today we have talked about elastic constants once more. The elastic constants are 4. That is Young's modulus, bulk modulus, modulus of rigidity, and Poisson's ratio. We have said that if we want to establish a relation between any 2 or any 3 of them, we need to express them in terms of beta and alpha. Alpha is the longitudinal strain, beta is the lateral strain, right? Longitudinal strain is produced along the direction of force and lateral strain is produced perpendicular to the direction of force. Now in the previous video, we had already established these 3 relations, that is Young's modulus, bulk modulus, and sigma in terms of beta and alpha. Today we tried to establish the relation between neta and beta and alpha. That is, we tried to express neta in terms of beta and alpha by a very simple assumption. We chose a face of the cube whose all parameters are unity, so whose diagonal is root 2, right? Then it elongated. Then we followed this kind of discussion that total elongation is alpha plus beta. So elongation along the diagonal is root 2 times alpha plus beta. Then we defined the modulus of rigidity. We put all the parameters equal to unity. We got just 1 by delta L. So our aim was to find this delta L. So we found that by using these calculations. And once we obtained delta L, we got this neta, right? and then we could connect these parameters. So I hope it's quite easy for you to follow.